All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to try and demystify one of the most, let's be honest, frustrating decisions we all have to make, buying a new smartphone. And we're going to do it by looking at the incredible story of a brand that's really trying to shake things up. Nothing.
I mean, seriously, how do you even begin to choose your next phone when the market is just so ridiculously crowded? It feels like every single option is just a tiny little variation of the last one. It's a huge problem, and it's the exact one we're going to tackle today.
Now, to make this whole thing feel a bit more real, let's zero in on the dilemma of one specific person. We're going to call him Hassan. He posted a question online, and honestly, it's the perfect way to kick off this whole conversation.
So who exactly is Hassan? Well, he's a pretty normal user, you know? He's not a gamer, doesn't play them at all. But he watches a ton of videos. We're talking YouTube, Netflix, the whole deal. So a great screen is a big deal for him. And here's the kicker. He's really looking for a super clean, smooth user interface. As for the camera, yeah, he uses it, but just casually. He's not a pro photographer or anything like that.
Okay, so Hassan managed to narrow it down to two contenders. In one corner, you've got the Nothing phone, which is known for that really unique interface and its cool camera system. And in the other corner, there's the Motorola Edge, which is flexing with a brighter screen and better durability. I mean, on paper, that's a really tough choice.
So what did the community have to say? You know, when you're stuck, sometimes the most direct answer is the best one you can get. And let me tell you, Hassan got a very clear recommendation.
A Reddit user who had actually reviewed both phones didn't mince words. They just said, Nothing Phone 3A is significantly better. That's it. No ambiguity, no it depends. For a person with Hassan's exact needs, there was a clear winner. But why?
And this is where it gets really interesting. The reasoning had nothing to do with processor speed or how many megapixels the camera had. The reviewer pointed to two things that matter for a user like Hassan: the software and the camera experience. They described the Motorola software as sluggish, while Nothing's was just much better. The camera on the Moto? Inconsistent. The one on the Nothing? More versatile. See, this feedback is all about the day-to-day feel of the phone, not just the specs on a sheet of paper.
And that right there brings us to the real heart of the matter. This isn't just about Hassan anymore. It's about why a brand new company like Nothing can come in and inspire this kind of strong loyalty. It's all about what's happening beyond the spec sheet.
The answer really comes down to this core idea in marketing called brand differentiation. It's basically the art of making your product feel completely, obviously different from everything else out there, right inside the consumer's mind. It's not just about what the product can do, it's about what it means.
So let's actually break down Nothing's winning strategy. How in the world did they manage to stand out in one of the most competitive markets on the entire planet? Okay, first, a little bit of context. The company was only founded in 2020 by Carl Pei, who you might know as one of the co-founders of OnePlus, another brand that was famous for shaking things up. They started with earbuds in 2021, then dropped their first phone in 2022. So by any measure, these guys are the new kids on the block.
So how did they do it? Well, the data gives us a super clear answer. When you look at what users are talking about the most, the number one theme, and it's not even close, is design innovation. It's that transparent back, it's the glyph interface with the lights, it's the unique look of the thing that gets people talking.
And if you need any more proof, check this out. When users were asked what feature appealed to them the most, a massive 46.7%, almost half, pointed to the overall design. That's more than how affordable it is, the battery life, or even the transparent look itself. Nothing figured out how to make aesthetics their number one weapon.
And who is this strategy working on? Well, the data is crystal clear here too. Gen Z and millennials make up the huge majority of their audience. This is a brand that just gets its target audience. You know, consumers who value their identity and want to express themselves through the tech they carry. So here's the bottom line. Nothing isn't just selling a phone. They're building a community. They get early adopters involved, they use social media to craft a story, and they build a kind of loyalty that goes way beyond just the piece of hardware in your pocket. It's like a club that you actually want to be a part of.
And all of this brings everything we've talked about right back to you, the person who's actually buying the phone. Because at the end of the day, the decision is always, always yours.
So, what about Hassan, the guy we started this whole thing with? The advice he got wasn't just about which phone had the better specs. No, it was about which phone offered a better experience for what he actually needed, and it was backed by a brand with a really clear and compelling identity.
So how can you make your own choice? Well, first, you got to define your real needs, just like Hassan did. Are you a gamer, or do you just watch videos? Second, look beyond the spec sheet. Think about the user experience, the software, how the phone feels. And finally, ask yourself this:
Which brand story actually connects with you?
And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. The next time you go to buy a new piece of tech, are you going to be shopping for a list of specifications, or are you shopping for a story?